gamers, welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain.
I'm Lynn.
And today we are going to be reviewing and showing you how to play Welcome To. Now, I have to admit, we had a bit of confusion with the name of this game because everyone just refers to it as Welcome To, but everywhere on the box it says Welcome to Your Perfect Home. But apparently the name is actually just Welcome To.
So you're supposed to name your own little subdivision.
Your own community. You name your own town. So now this is a game designed by Benoit Turpin. I hope I'm pronouncing that name correctly. And the game is listed as being for 1 to 100 players, ages 10 and up, and 25 minutes. So 25 minutes is actually a pretty good estimate, and there's not a lot of variety in the time, even with the whole 1 to 100 players thing, which I'll get to that in 1 second. But there's not a lot of variety because you do most of the actions at the same time. Mm-hmm. You're basically as fast as your slowest player. So as long as you don't have someone with analysis paralysis, this game goes quick. It actually goes really fast. And the more you play it, and the more you're familiar with the different abilities, the faster it goes. Mm-hmm. So I think that's a pretty good estimate. I'd say up to about half an hour. But it's pretty close. Now, the age is 10 and up. I'm thinking that's a pretty good estimate. What do you think?
Yeah.
Now, the 1 to 100 is a little silly. What they're saying is because...
there's 100 sheets on the pad. Score sheets. There's
100 community sheets on the pad. So technically, you could buy one of these, fill an auditorium with 100 people, give everyone one sheet, and play one game of it. You
would have to have like one of those projector things.
Yeah, have an overhead. Yeah, have a big overhead screen so everyone can see the cards. And you could totally do that. It is possible. But realistically, I mean, this can play with a large number of players. And because the time doesn't differ at all, it actually... we've played it at like 2 players. I think we played it at 6 players once. It doesn't really differ at all. Mm-hmm. It's actually really scalable because of how everybody just reacts to the cards simultaneously. So let's have a look at what comes in the box. So first off, you've got the rule book. Now, there were a couple things that I found ambiguous in the rule book, I'm not going to lie. But overall, it's a good rule book. It has lots of diagrams, which help to clear up some of the confusion I had. Lots of illustrations. And generally speaking, I would say it's above average. So it is a pretty good rule book. Now, the pad is very nice. This is a big, thick pad with, obviously, as you heard, 100 of these community sheets. They have all the ways you can score on the bottom. So they, right there on the sheet, remind you of the things you're going for to get your score, which is good. You have this amusing certificate of achievement for winning Welcome To, so you can take a photo and share it on social media if you win the game. You have these cheat sheets, which have little amusing advertisements on the back, little tongue-in-cheek pop culture references, which are great. And then on the front, they are, which actually, I really like these. I mean, you've got the one that's obviously a reference to Back to the Future, this one with a giant dog, this one to a reference to another board game. This one's Blue Cocker's Kitchen Store, which is a joke about the name of one of the 2 companies, because the companies that put this game out were Blue Cocker and Deepwater Games. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. But also, the cheat sheet is very good. It's language independent, and it reminds you of all the ways you can score. Then you've got a bunch of tiny little pencils.
They're almost useless.
I mean, you could get one extra sharpening out of this, but I mean, they could have had it come with nothing. So,
yeah, that's true.
So it's good that they did something, and they have these.
There's like a bunch of them too.
Yeah, they do give you a lot of pencils.
4, 6, 8. There's 10 pencils.
Yeah, which is actually quite a few. It's hard to hold on to them.
Yeah.
You have these glossy finish cards, which you like the glossy finish more than I do. I'm more into the linen finish, but you are a fan of shuffling the glossy finish.
I find the glossy finish easier to shuffle.
And there's glossy finish cards that are both the planning cards, which when we're showing you how the game, you'll see how these work, as well as these house number cards, which on one side have the house number, and on the other side have a ability. And that's everything that comes in the box here. So now we're going to head back over and we're going to show you how to play the game. And then we're going to come back here and we're going to talk about how this game feels and how it plays. And we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, so here we can see a 2-player game of Welcome To setup. So to set up the game, you have to shuffle up the 3 decks here and place out 3 equal-sized decks with the house numbers on top. You also have to shuffle up the housing plans number 1, 2, and 3. Whoops, we've put them in the wrong order here. Numbers 1, 2, and 3, and take one random housing plan number 1, number 2, and number 3, and put them out on the table. These are objectives that will get you bonus points. Each player gets 1 cheat sheet to remind them of all of the ways to score points, as well as 1 community sheet, and gets to name their community. So mine is Dark City, and then what do you have?
I have Whoville.
Indeed. So welcome to Whoville, welcome to Dark City. Now we are going to be planning our communities, and to start playing, the first thing we do at the beginning of every round is we're going to flip over the top cards from each of the decks. Now this gives us 3 pairs of a number and an ability. So I'm just going to spin this card around so it's facing the way so you can see it. So we have a 3 and a landscaper card. We have a 7 and a temp agency card, and a 5 and a landscaper card. Now the way this works is each of us can now choose to use any of these numbers, and whichever number we choose, we also get the ability of the card next to it. So we're going to do that simultaneously, and then we're going to tell you what we chose and why. Did you do yours?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. So I chose the 3 with the landscaper card, and I placed my 3 here at the end of my street. And on this street, because I chose the landscaper card, I was able to fill in the 0 on the parks there. So now I have a park on the street, which is going to be worth 2 points. The more I fill in, the more they'll be worth. And what did you choose?
I literally did the same thing as you.
Oh, okay. So
the same house, the same park.
Oh, really? Great minds think alike. Let's. What do you say we flip over the next cards and we'll see if we pick something different. So we have a 4 with a pool builder. We have an 11 with a contractor, and we have a 2 with a real estate agent. So let's see here.
Doing the same thing again.
No, we're not. I'm not doing the same thing as you. So I chose the 11 with the temp agency, which allowed me to change the number up to 1 or 2 digits. So I made it a 13, put it all the way at the end, and it let me fill in one of my temp agency spots here. What did you choose?
I chose the 4 in the pool. I put the 4 right after the 3.
Where there is a pool.
There is a pool, so I got to cross off one of my pool things.
All right, so let's flip over again and see what we get. So we have a 14 with a temp agency. And we have
a 9.
A 9 with a park and a 5 with a park. Okay. Okay, so I chose to do the 14 with the temp agency. I lowered its number to a 12, and I filled in one of the temp agency spots there. And then, Lynn, what did you do?
I did the 5 in the park. I put my 5 there, and I got to cross off the second park.
Ah, so now let's do another one. Okay. Okay, and then I chose the 9 with the temp agency. I filled in another temp agency spot. As you see, I'm doing a lot of those. And I got to I switched it to a 10 because I used the temp agency, which allowed me to change the number.
I did the 11 in a park, so I filled in the 11 there and filled in the park.
And this is how the game plays. And it does not take really any longer for more players or less players because you all do this simultaneously. You keep flipping over and you do the different numbers and the abilities. Now, for this ability here, which is the real estate agent, you can fill in one of these areas here, the lowest number on one of these here, which will make your developments of that size more valuable. So let's say if I had chosen that, I could fill in the 2 on the 2 housing developments and make 2 housing developments worth 3 points. Now, the way that works is you have to find one that has a white picket fence on it. Because if you have that, you get to fill in one of these lines between houses. The solid lines already count as fences. So filling in this line here and having the solid line on the end means that's now a 2 housing development. And since both houses have their numbers, it means that it is a complete housing development of 2 houses, which is now worth 3 points. You keep going until one of 3 things happens with these cards. You either wind up having occasions where, because of the fact that when you're filling in the numbers, you're not allowed to put a number to the right of numbers that are larger than it. Numbers must always go in ascending order. So if that happens, you have to fill in one of these which give you negative points, and if you fill in 3, that will cause the end of the game. Or if you fill in all of your houses, that will cause the end of the game. Or if you complete all 3 of the city plans, that will also cause the end of the game. Now, another thing I want to show you here is the biz, which just came up. This allows you to actually duplicate a number. So now I would need help from this. So I might do the biz, and I might duplicate this 10 here and put a 10 biz right next to it. Now, that also will give me some negative points, because doing that, even though it allows me to duplicate the number, it means I have to fill in this biz scale, which the first one filled in means it'll give me -1 point at the end of the game. But it can help me if I have too many houses and not enough numbers, which I just counted, and I do. And that I think is all of the things that you can do. Now, the points you get are based on the 3 city plans here, the points you get for how high you were able to fill up the parks in each street here, how many pools you total got there, the most times someone used the temp agency, you get 7 points. The person who used the second most gets 4, and third most would get 1. And then you count up all of your developments based on their size and get points equal to the number of, say, 1 house developments at this point times 1 point each. You'd count them all up and add those points there. And then the same with 2 housing developments, 3 housing developments, 4, 5, and 6 housing developments. You reduce points for your current level from the biz ability, and also from times when you were literally not able to put a house down. And then whoever has the highest score wins the game of Welcome To. And there you have it. So now we're going to head back over to the table, and we're going to talk about how this game plays and how it feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, welcome back. So that was a look at how you play a game of Welcome To. Now, I want to give a shout out to one of our regular subscribers, Sue Park, who Sue wrote on our unboxing for this that the style of game this is called is a flip and right. Now, I hadn't heard the term before, but so I wanted to give her a shout out for bringing the term to our attention. I didn't really know what to call it. I mean, it plays kind of like a roll and right without rolling dice. Well, you're flipping cards. So flip and right sounds so perfect that I love that. So big shout out to Sue Park for letting us know this is a flip and right game, of which I don't know of any others yet. It's a kind of a newer style, a newer branch off of the roll and right games, if you will. So, and having it be a flip and right rather than a roll and right, it adds in a reduction in the randomness, because you know what numbers are in the deck. You can do a little bit of card counting, be like, okay, a bunch of this number have come up. There's probably not many more of that number. Whereas in a roll and right, you have no idea what's going to come up.
Yeah.
So that being said, let's talk about some of the negatives and positives of this game. Do you have any negatives you want to draw attention to?
The tiny pencils.
Okay, so that's a little bit of a production gripe you have with it, where they've got these tiny little pencils.
I appreciate that they're there, but they're almost useless.
You could probably only get away with maybe sharpening them once, and then, they're done. And I don't even know if you really even could. They're hard to hold on to with how small they are. But, I mean, everybody's got pencils. And the fact that they at least included some pencils is nice. And it's like they included, 10 pencils. Mm-hmm. So, and do you have any other main gripes you wanted to give?
No.
So now, my only gripes are that there's a few ambiguities in the rulebook, but they're not bad. I mean, that's really stretching. I don't have anything glaring to talk about with negatives for this game. This game is an interesting lightweight game, short time frame game that never gets longer no matter how many people you play it with. You can totally do this as a party game with lots of people, and it doesn't take up any more amount of time, which is what's so brilliant about its design. In addition, when you first play it, it might take you a moment because there's so many different ways to get points. Some people like to refer to that as a point salad. There's a lot of different ways to get points, but all those ways to get points, once you've played one game of it, which only takes you about half an hour, they seem intuitive. And on the cheat sheet with the little diagrams of how to get the points, you're like, oh, okay, well, when I cross out these, it makes all housing developments of 2 houses worth more points. Okay, good. I know that that's a way to get me lots of points. And then I have to use the picket fences to draw fences to get my housing developments of 2 houses. So, I mean, what do you think about how this game plays? What are your opinions on it?
I think it plays pretty intuitively once you know what all the little symbols mean.
Uh-huh. And, I mean, what about, like, enjoyment level? I mean, anything else you want to...
I don't know. I mean, I enjoy it, I think, because I like trying to make the perfect little neighborhood.
It's like you're building something.
Yeah.
Even though you're not... I mean, I love games that let you build something, and even though you're not building something, it kind of feels like you're building something because you're writing it in. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of like suburban planning?
Yeah.
You know, in a sort of way, which is kind of weird. Yeah, I enjoy this game. This is a fun little game. It's quick. It's fun. Even though you're being really understated, you have raved about this game off camera. I don't know why now you're being quiet.
I'm not
You're being totally quiet. Well, okay. How many stars would you give to Welcome to?
8.
Yes, you're being way quiet for 8 stars. You've been loving on this game, and this is one you've been asking to play a lot, no matter how many players we have. I think one of the biggest strengths to this game is that it plays equally well regardless of the number of players. It plays great at 2 players. It plays great at 6 players.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if I would try it at 100 players.
As long as everyone can see the cards.
Yeah. You need enough room that everybody can see the cards. I don't think I would play it more than 8 players just because of the room we have around our table. Like, we could fit 8 people around this table. Everybody could see the cards. We could play 8 people. I don't think I would go higher than that. What do you think? I mean, but that whole 1 to 100 is a little silly. I mean, you'd need extra accoutrements to really do that. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, I think it plays really well. I enjoy it. I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 stars. So I'm not quite as emphatic as Lynn, but 7 means I really like this game, and I'm going to play it anytime someone asks. And Lynn has been asking to play it a lot lately because she really enjoys it. And every time she asks, I say yes. So, I mean, this is... For what it is, this really accomplishes what the designer set out to do very well. I mean, it's a great lightweight game that does not take any more time the more players you add onto it. It's an easy to learn, easy to play, fun game night game or family weight game. So if you enjoy the 50s nostalgia aesthetic and the pop culture references and the whole concept of designing your own suburban town, I recommend Welcome to you. So if you enjoyed this video and tutorial and you'd like to see us do more like it, be sure to give it a like. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns either on the game of Welcome to or on this video, feel free to put them in the comments down below. And if you'd like to see us do more videos like this, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Captain. That's Captain spelled with a K on YouTube, and hit that little bell icon on my channel so you get updates every time I upload a new video. And until next time, game on.